All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody so everybody can join in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So, what a day. Another big volatility day, and we're still at it. Futures up 20. They were negative for a little bit. They were futures up 20. They were negative. So we're going to take a look at those in a little bit. Today we're going to continue our discussion on bullish reversal patterns with the Morningstar Reversal. We, of course, talk about this one several times, but we can't go through bullish reversal patterns without talking about it because it is an awesome one. So before we get started, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. All right. Well, let's pull up the SPX here. 1 second. Let's check and see where we're at, where we left off today. So we're going to pull up the monthly chart first. Okay. So with the monthly chart here, the reason that we like to look at the monthly chart, it gives us a big perspective of the macro picture of what's going on in the market, right? And it's good to look at it every day or at least every couple days. Just to see what's going on, especially with the volatility. Now, with the volatility as high as it is, it's important to look at the higher time frames, right? Because it takes out a lot of the noise that's there. We can kind of see all the key levels in really good perspective, right? So one of the big down moves that we had recently was last October to December, right? And we bounced off of the 50 monthly moving average. We've talked about the 50 monthly moving average as really being that line in the sand between bull and bear market, right? So the month isn't over yet, right? We've got a couple weeks left. We have a lot of heavy news that's been weighing on the market over the past couple months, right? So we, a couple months ago, we had that upper shadow right here. It's like we're kind of drifting up. Then we hit all-time highs, and then we pushed down below that shooting star candle off of the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly and got a big move down. Now we bounced off of that, off of the mid Bollinger Band, and then this month just kind of started out. Looked like we were going to rally back up, and then they pushed it back down, right? So we had to see where we closed, but when we look at these bigger pictures, we can see these lines very clearly. The monthly cloud is still significant too, but that 50 moving average is key. And, we've talked about that before as well, right? We know that back in 2008, 2009, it was when we stayed under that for a while was really where that bear market was really kind of in play for several months, right? Same back here during the dot-com bubble, right? When that burst and we got below there, we stayed in kind of that bear market mode for a while under the 50-week monthly moving average, right? And you can go all the way back to the 70s, right? The oil crisis, and you can kind of take it back all the way to 80, to the Great Depression, right? So that's kind of the idea right here. So the only difference is that we're really, really high up here, right? So it's big, but there's a lot of room to go to the downside. So if we kind of stayed relatively down, we might work our way back down to those 2016 lows. That's possible. I mean, to think that we would hit the lows of 2008, 2009, I'm not saying it's impossible, but that is pretty far down there. So we'll see how we do. We're holding the monthly cloud right now, and we're kind of going from there. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, right? Again, this is looking at kind of a shorter term time frame of just bullishness and bearishness, change of composure, right? Is that 30 weekly moving average very, very important right here? Obviously, we broke down below it before, in October, December time frame, right? We had the Christmas reversal. We got back above it, tested it, and went all the way to all-time highs. We flushed below it, right, a couple weeks ago, and then we had this inside candle right here, right, Harami cross, which is a bearish potential continuation pattern. Obviously, it played out well this time. And we could see that exact same kind of setup happen back here in 2018 before we hit those December lows. And so we hit those lows again today, and we bounced off as we can see on the weekly chart here. So let's see if those will hold. It's kind of a key area right here. We have a big lower shadow. We closed above those lows. It was very important for us to close above that today. So let's see if that can hold. If it does, we may see a move to the upside. This is, we talk about Elliott wave here a lot, and we talk about it in our group too. One of the things we could be looking at here is a wave 1 down, wave 2, possible wave 3, wave 4, and we might see another wave down after that. So a rally off of this, I would still be a little bit skeptical about it as, a rally to the highs. It doesn't mean we can't do it, right? Especially with the way, if they come up with a cure with Corona and everybody starts getting better, like I heard some good news tonight that like apparently Wuhan has no new cases today. This is like the first time they've had no new cases, and there's been some good reports coming out of Wuhan too. Like even FedEx on their their earnings conference call. Like they do business over there, right? Deliveries, things like that, and they're saying things are picking up again, right? They're starting to do more business, right? Stuff's starting to happen there. People are going out, people are returning to work, so we're starting to hear a lot of good stuff like that. So if that happens here, we could see an epic reversal to the upside, right? And this wave, might be over, because this, the count might be wrong, right? This could be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is as long as 3 is not the the shortest wave, right? It can this could be the the potential finish of it right there. So we'll see exactly what it does. But again, we just got to use our levels and use our candles to be sure and all that stuff. But really, the key thing we want to make sure is going on is that our VIX, right, is that our VIX gets down. Right, it's really camping out up here right now. I mean, we're up at 85. Right, if we go back to the just to the monthly chart right here, we can see if we just go back a little bit, we can see back in 2008, right, we hit a high of 89, like so basically 90 right there. So we're getting really close to that, but they didn't stay there long, right? They came up. We're kind of camping out up here right now. This is the monthly chart. We're not there right. We're not done with it yet. So that's really the key right there, is to get that VIX down, right? Because it helps a lot of things, right? It makes the we've talked about volatility, right, recently, and we really want that VIX to be back down below 30, below 20, so our option premiums and spreads will get more reasonable again, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at there. But in the meantime, volatility is kind of camped out up here. We did put an upper shadow today, so we'll see if that holds. And kind of see where we end up tomorrow. So we just have to respect that volatility, and during this volatility, it's very dangerous to put on swing positions, right, until we can get like a really reasonable setup. And that's why this week we've been looking at these bullish reversal patterns. So we're going to take a look at that in a second. Before we do that though, let's take a look at the price action today on the shorter term time frame and see how it dealt with the intraday. So we go to the 15-minute chart right here. Okay, so I've got the SPY pulled up here right now. And you can take a look at whichever one you want to. So, but for the most part, right, we try to push our way up here. Lots of upper shadows, right? We broke the 15 orb down, came back down there today, right? And we actually had what looks like a Morningstar reversal right here. Okay, so really, really close to it. It didn't quite gap down below it, but very, very close. And you had a very, very nice reversal pattern up here to get back to the 15 orb low, right? Then we came back down again, right? And then they ripped it into the close. So we'll see how that holds going into tomorrow. If we go here to the 5-minute chart, if we go to the SPX here, I'll show you these are different levels that we use that we provide for our members before each market open. Let's go to here. Okay, so here you can see today's levels were like so. And pretty interesting stuff, right? So we had this triangle breakdown right here at the prior day's open, right? We danced below the prior day's lows. Then we had another triangle pattern right here, which got us down to our S2 and S2 levels on the weekly and daily charts right here. Reversed off of that, came back down, higher low, and then worked our way up. So higher high, higher low, and then worked our way up. So good stuff there. So today we're continuing bullish reversal patterns with the Morningstar Reversal. So the Morningstar Reversal is a high probability pattern. The percentage of it working is about 78%. Okay, so we definitely like to know the probabilities of our moves before we take a trade. So this is what the Morningstar Reversal looks like. So it's a 3-candle pattern, and I'll show it up here. See if we can find it. No clear space there. I'll just make it big like this. So it's a movement down. Right, moving down in price, and then we get one candle right here. It's a red candle. Then the next candle is the real body, right? The real body. You could have a shadow, an upper shadow, candle wick, or whatever you want to call it, into this range here. But the real body itself has to be below the real body here, and then the next candle goes at least 50% of the range of this candle. So here, right? So you can gap up, or you can kind of touch it a little bit, whatever you want to do, as long as you're over 50% of this one, and then it tends to work itself up. Now, a lot of times it comes up like this, it comes down a little bit and then goes, but either way, that is your reversal pattern right there. So classic examples of this one, right? So this is if we just go back to our daily chart and we go back to December here, we had a Morningstar reversal when this thing decided to move its way up, right? So here's your red candle right here. Here's your real body that closed below this one, and then we had a big green candle right here that pushed through 50% of this range right there, and that ultimately was the start of the big move here. Now, one of the things we like, and we always talk about it, are our key levels and the levels that we like to use, right? So it's important to be at a key level. It's important, for these reversals to really be good, right? I think you can increase your probability of these working out. You actually have an evening star reversal right here, by the way. So here's a green candle, here's a real body here, and then we closed over 50% of the range of that one. That actually worked it down. So you had an evening star, which brought us down to these levels, and a morning star to reverse it, right? So A couple things I like to do that I think are important for these reversals, right, is to have your trend lines. Right, so as much as the reversal is, you don't want to go in them blindly. Right, now this is a nice move, and I remember when we traded these days here, they were just epic candles up. I mean, these days 121 points was like a big deal, right? These days it's like every day, 189, 182, 218 points, 182 points, 186 points. Today was 173 points, right? Today was like a narrow range day, right? And so that's one of the key things right here, that we want to look at. So this actually started to form. This was a Morningstar reversal pattern right here, right? So we had a red candle right here. Here's your real body below it, and we closed 50% above that. So do we want to just blindly go in the next day and be like, hey, yay, the Morningstar reversal, it's working? No, right? So we want to make sure that it makes sense, right? And so the only way for me, like for it to make sense, is to make sure that we're breaking out over a trend line and confirming above it, right? So even if here, if this were a Morningstar reversal here and we kind of closed up here, I would still want to see confirmation above that with good volume, and then use our usual trend line tactics to work our way back up. Right, so that's the concept right there. So that's the Morningstar reversal. We actually saw two good examples right here. We saw one where it couldn't, it didn't break out. I mean, it got a little bit of movement to the upside, right? And so we saw one where it failed, and we saw one where it worked in an amazing, epic way, right? So in fact, this looks like a Morningstar reversal here back in June, right? So you can see right here, very, very close. Not sure if that was quite a gap below it, but the real body is really, really close. Let's see, this one closed at 2752.06. And this one actually closed at, this one actually was, the real body is completely below this real body. So this was a Morningstar reversal right here too, right? And so what I like about this is we not only do we get above that, but we closed and we confirmed above it, right? We don't see volume right here, but we moved up nicely, sideways action, and moved up again. So we had a nice Morningstar reversal off of that. So these present themselves a lot, right? You can see them not often on the intraday time frames because of the gaps themselves, but we do see it on SPX and on some of our candles as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on a lot of stocks. These different reversal patterns we've been looking at this week, and it's kind of why I'm doing it. So when we are ready to reverse, we'll at least be able to catch one of these patterns that makes sense to try to take us back up. So again, just keep in mind what the broader context might be. This wave might be over right here, but we may be working our way up again, and then another wave down, and trying to do that. So that's we just have to keep that in context. But again, the trend lines really help with that, and also key levels. If you're at a cloud, that's an important thing too. Also if you're finding some major support, things like that. But everything kind of has to work together in harmony, right? So this Morningstar reversal was at a prior support level, but the context of the market didn't change, right? There was still like a lot of major levels, right? So one of the things we talked about, because the Corona news was so strong on the market, right, that we this rally really looked like one of the things we wanted to make sure, even with the Morningstar reversal, we wanted to at least get above this intermediate trend line right here to see if we could work our way back up, but we couldn't do it. It just turned out to be a retest of that trend line. We came back down, we closed back below the 200-day moving average, right, and we worked our way back down. So that's where we are, guys. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can. We'll try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have an awesome trading day tomorrow. So 2 more trading days left this week. So it's been a long one. It's felt like a month so far, and we'll see where we're at right now. So in fact, pretty interesting stuff. Just to comment on the volatility. If we just go to the S&P futures real quick before we get started, is if we just go to the 15-minute chart right now, pretty amazing stuff. We're actually negative right now. So we had a big move up. In fact, when we started it, we were up by like 20 points, and now we're down 5 points, right? So it just shows how wild this volatility is, right? So we got some key levels that we're going to be looking at into tomorrow, right? We just closed below this trend line right here, so that forms your trend line. So if this candle right here closes below that, we may see a further push to the downside and see us opening, or pushing down at least red. We got some key levels down here that may get tested. It was a double inside 15 that worked its way up here today. Those might get tested if this candle right here gets weak, or if we find another weak candle down there. We may find this as support. It may say like, I just wanted to test those levels, right? This was a huge breakout candle here, right, at the end of the day, right? And so that scene of the breakout might want to get tested, right? There's so many levels, and when volatility is high, these levels can be tested very, very quickly, especially in this market. So anyway, guys, good stuff. So we got a few requests out there. I know Shirley's sending a few here. I think she's got some on the bearish radar here. So let's take a look at AAL. AAL. Wow. Not quite an evening star reversal right here, but that's a big, excuse me, grapefruits, a big upper shadow over the ADMA right here. We need to get some follow through the downside. I got some big volume. I know they're talking about bailing out these stocks right here, but these things are just getting crushed. Here's your, essentially your macro trend line right here, and bearish until proven otherwise in AAL. So that looks good. Watch out for the lower shadow today, but if it wants to push lower, it certainly could. IWM. There we go. We got this going on right here. Okay, so just basically bearish still proven otherwise on this one too. So they're still staying below those trend lines. So we'll just have to see if you can get over that trend line or not. But if not, I think your short concept on that could be good. Let's take a look here. So we got we have this iShares right here. So this is obviously looking pretty bearish too, below the trend line. Bearish still proven otherwise. Disney. Convenient that the CEO, left Disney not too long ago, but this is a nice candle right here. This is a good real body below this inside day right here. There is a possibility this thing might want to work its way up and try to fill that gap and at least test somewhere inside that inside day range. We have some other levels here. Of course, it did the same thing here, right? And then worked its way down as well. But this is in the lower low. Big volume today. We'll see if 79 is the low here, the recent low on Disney. Pretty amazing stuff. But we are still below all trend lines. And it is kind of fun when the ADMA really just kind of traces out one of our trend lines too. Kind of cool stuff there. And then JP Morgan. Okay, yeah, JP Morgan, we drew these trend lines last night. Again, still bearish, still proving others in this one. This is actually pretty much an evening star reversal right here, except the only reason it's not a reversal is that we're still in a downtrend. So, wow, this thing is moving like an ADR, isn't it? It looks like it's like gap. It's like we're getting data from overseas or something like on it. But anyway, neat stuff. Yeah, bearish, still proving others on that one too. Tommy, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at MAR. Oh, wow. Marriott. So Marriott is an example of one of those companies that is showing some improvement, right? So they said that they've opened up 90 before they had all their hotels closed in China. Now they've got, I think they said 90%. I can't remember if it was 90% or 90 or whatever it was, but they have a large percentage of their hotels are open back up in China and back in business. So that's interesting. That could kind of give some hope and promise in the market right there. So let's see if this one's starting a Morningstar Reversal. Let's see what kind of candle we get tomorrow, right? So if we can get a nice candle there, we can get above this trend line, right? We might be able to work its way back up. So MAR is tough. It's got dollar spreads on the options. That used to be pretty rough, but everything's got at least like a dollar spread or really close to it these days. So it makes it a little bit challenging, but interesting. So again, I would love to have that fixed down with that IV down too. Godwin, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Good evening. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, Nvidia. So Nvidia is pretty interesting right here. So we are below. We are below its recent trend line right here. We've got a macro trend line right here. Right, we got this guy going right here. Right, so we are below all that stuff. But one of the things I do like about it is we have good volume today. It's had a couple green days in a row. We hit a lower low, and we closed right at and above the 200-day moving average. So this could be a good one to keep an eye on for a potential rally if the market does get strong. Matthew, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. ZEK, let's take a look. Yeah, RAD. So RAD has definitely been on the radar. This thing has just been generally pretty strong right here. It's essentially rallying with some of the other big names like Walmart, stuff like that. So again, this is a pretty highly weighted stock also on retail ETF, on at least the Spider. And so that's holding up pretty well. Good volume's been coming in. It's been reclaiming a lot of ranges. It basically came back down, tested this gap, bounced off the 200-day moving average, and is getting a nice move to the upside on that one. So watch out for that upper shadow right there, but it is moving the way we like it. We did close bullishly with good volume over these levels right here. We did reject here, but next level up is for a potential gap fill above. DO. Yep, diamond offshore right here. Look at that. There was your downward trend line right here. Huge breakout candle. Now it's getting really, really tight in here. So that's kind of a key area to look at. Double inside day, failed to break it down, came back, coming out. See if it breaks out to the upside. It might want to test those levels first. If we can get above that, we might come up here. If we close above these levels, might be able to work our way up to the cloud on that one. BJ had a big day. Whoa, BJ's had a big day the other day too. And look at that. It cleared all these levels right here. Isn't that amazing? Close those pivots right here with some good volume and a beautiful candle. That is just super duper nice. It even closed above this guy right here. Just amazing stuff, right? And then you got this guy right here, which is really cool. So closed over a lot of key levels right here. I think that's bullish enough to put on the radar for tomorrow. I like it. We've been looking at these kind of warehouse clubs, Costco, things like that. So this looks good enough to put there. Give me 1 second. Let me get the. Can you believe tomorrow's Thursday already? It feels like a month, I suppose. But let's definitely put BJ on the list there. Okay. And we could, yeah, looks good there. There. And there. Good stuff. Thank you. All right. So, BJ, let's take a look at SPAR. Spartan Motors. Wow. So, again, watch out. The auto industry is getting crushed right now, guys. GM's closing its plants for Corona. Manufacturing's down. If retail is shutting down, a lot of car dealerships might be shutting down, that type of stuff. And so just watch that out for in general in the automotive business. Right now, we are under the trend line right here, closing kind of on the lows and still bearish until proven otherwise. Good stuff. Jay, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Michael Phillips, hey, you took your own stimulus from the market this week. That's what I'm talking about. Great job today, man. Really awesome stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. Good job. Microsoft. I love those success stories. Microsoft. So, again, I stretched out this, this crazy congestion zone here, and we're back in it, right? So it looks like we've got a double inside day on Microsoft. So that could be pretty interesting right here. That was one of the setups we talked about this week, right? So let's keep an eye on this one, see if it can start to break out above these levels, right? And if we could do that, this might be a good potential reversal area for Microsoft, right? So let's definitely keep an eye on that one. I'm liking it here. That could be interesting. So definitely keep this monitored and see if we can get out above. Let's see what we got right here. We can do like a trend line here. Yeah, see if we can get above this trend line here too, and see if we can start to work its way off. Microsoft might be a good go-to name in the recovery world. IVR, of course, if it breaks down below there, you might test the bottom of that congestion zone. IVR, let's take a look. Yep, let's see. Lynn. Good. Okay, so IVR mortgage. So interest rates. The Fed's cut the interest rate down to 0. So if that rolls over into mortgages, you might see a whole slew of refis. Now, obviously, they're not getting a lot of interest off of that, but they may still be able to charge a point on those contracts or however they do it, and that might give a still increase their profit, especially if everybody's refinancing at 0%. So, we're close to it. So keep an eye on that right there. Nice lower shadow right here, and then see if we can go. Wow, $2 from $2 to basically doubled in value, like just today. Isn't that crazy? Off of its lows, if you bought at the lows. And then dry. Yeah. So we've got earnings coming up. It's tomorrow morning, right? Wow, this thing is just getting crushed. So it's up a little bit after hours, but keep an eye on it. See how the earnings go. This thing is just, vertically down. Right? Look at that. We had this this channel that we were working on here, just kind of channel. It almost broke out of the channel. Maybe it's like your first sign of some weakness right here, and then just kind of flush its way down. So, and that doesn't help that everybody's closing. Like most even local governments are shutting down restaurants, right? So obviously, restaurant company not good for them. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Let's see how their earnings come out. It's all about their guidance, and I can't imagine the guidance is going to be good, right? So we'll keep an eye on that one. Jay, what's going on? Okay, so we got Grub. So Grub had a decent move yesterday, a nice move up, right? It was kind of a hot mention when they were talking about getting things delivered, instead of people actually dining in. I know restaurants are closed here right now, so decent move yesterday. But again, we watch out for those big upper shadows, right? So those kind of bother us a little bit. In fact, it's almost an evening star reversal, except we're not at the highs right here, but that type of pattern. But also a big lower shadow right here. So look at it's playing ping pong between these levels right now. So that's a tough one to trade, and it's sometimes it's low volume intraday, but the volume's been picking up a little bit here. So AMD. Always an interesting one to keep an eye on, right? It's usually pretty highly traded. It did bounce off its 200-day moving average here. Again, we're seeing kind of like a really a major trend line right here, but it also looks like a kind of a channel too, or even a falling wedge. So just kind of see how it does right there. It's kind of it's bearish, still proven otherwise. It did bounce off the 200, but if it loses that, right, we may see some more downside movement on this one. Let's take a look. Coop. Yeah, it was a good day yesterday. It had earnings, and again, this one is really proven to be impossible to trade. Even trading shares, it's like $1 spread between between points on this one. So it's or between bid and ask. So that's pretty rough. And then the options are just kind of out of play. But nice inside day right here. Let's see if that gets any movement. A breakout to the upside or downside on that one. Zoom. Of course, has been one of our go-to Corona names. It tends to get like nice pops to the upside. It had a strong day today. They're getting overwhelmed with people using them. I'll tell you, we use it for our live streams with our group, and they're still processing some of the videos that we did 2 days ago, right? So I've been now saving stuff locally to the hard drive instead of their cloud to make it easy, so we can get the videos out to everybody. But it's been a go-to one for sure, and they're kind of on top of it, and they've been taking a positive attitude with everything too. It's up nicely after market as well, so it kind of got some nice follow through there. Let's see if that can hold up into tomorrow. Let's take a look at Nike. Schnikes. Okay, so Nike a little bit up a little bit after hours, but still down on the day based on the gap down. They're trying to hold up right here. They did say something about like closing all their stores, I guess like their outlet stores, whatever they've got. So that's not good for business, but it is trying to hold up right here. We got a nice little shower, increased volume. Let's see if it can get like a little bit of an earnings run for you coming up soon. Golly, I can't imagine their guidance is going to be very good on that. So something to keep an eye on there. SMDC4S, President accounted for. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Japanese flu drug clearly effective in treating coronavirus. That's fantastic. Good to hear that. Good. Thank you for mentioning. Yeah, we love positive news. Heather, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Samit, good evening. Good to see you. Bagash, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Got a couple on here. Yeah, let's take a look. So Boeing. Wow, Boeing, guys. I tweeted this out earlier, and I was just like, just LOL. I mean, it's just, below it's below 100 right now. It's 89. I mean, this thing is like could be a penny stock before you know. I mean, really, honestly, this is pretty awful. So, huge volume's been coming in the last couple days. We did have a bit of a doji day today. It's just in a horrible position right here. Also interesting that their CEO left as well. Let's see if this turns into a reversal doji. It had huge volume today on this candle. Let's see. It could form a Morningstar reversal, right? Red candle, real body below that one. Let's see if we can get a candle here that goes to the 50% of that range right there and tries to get out of this trend line. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. Amazing to see it in double digits. I would have thought they would have been there after their 737 Maxes. They try to prop it up as much as they could, but that was it after this whole thing. And then they're asking for loans and all that stuff from the government, from the taxpayers. So it's like, can we get like a lot of stock? Anyway, so Roku inside day. So some upper shadows right here. Again, still staying below its trend line here. So let's see if it can, try to work its way back above that and, get some strength. Otherwise, bearish, still proven otherwise on that one. Tesla, that's what we wanted to talk about. So we talked about, the auto business being really rough right here. Well, Tesla is not immune to it at all. It's amazing to see it was up at like almost 1,000, right? And then here it is back to 300 again. It's like, oh, so you're part of that hype type move right there too, little fad stock. So anyway, we'll see what it does. Is that its 200-day moving average? Again, bearish, still proven otherwise. Closing down factories, because of the corona. So we'll see how that holds. It's up. It's trying to squeeze its way up a little bit there after hours today, but again, just keep an eye on it right here. Again, pretty bearish right here, increased volume, and a little kind of a spinning top doji sandwich on the way down there too. So interesting stuff there. Yeah, so that's what we got. Downside, upside. Let's see with T-Dot. Yep, Teladoc. There you go. Great concept, right? So, fundamentally, it's if you can visit your doctor remotely, that's a good way to do it, right? So we had a couple tweezers right here. Got it closed above those levels right here. This next level is a possibility. This is a tricky one to trade. It's got some crazy spreads on it and stuff like that, but it's been pretty volatile in here. But it is showing some intraday strength, so it's definitely one to keep an eye on it as a one of those Corona plays. APRN for sure. For sure, this thing got halted today. It was just like, the grocery delivery company, So it kind of made a major breakout candle yesterday, but it did close below its 200-day, and it got that upside follow through today. So really, really nice move on APRN today. Again, huge upper shadow right there. It may get some more upside, but definitely want to keep an eye on there. Guild again making progress on their coronavirus vaccines. Finally closed above this level right here, so let's see if that can hold. I think it got some good news after hours too, and or at least a good pop after hours too. So that had some nice movement there, and then it dripped down a little bit. But pretty wild stuff in here. But it is generally overall pretty bullish if we can get out of this range. One of the things to get out of this is to be like, okay, what's going on in the weekly? Okay, we might have a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly and the monthly chart. If you go to the monthly here, look at that. We got above its 50 monthly moving average. Got some cloud above it, but definitely looking bullish on the month. So that could be interesting for long-term consideration type stuff. DLR. Yep, Digital Realty Trust. So again, Good stuff right here. A little bit tricky here. This was generally kind of a tough one to trade right here. I like this. It's essentially Morningstar Reversal. Wow, this is a Morningstar Reversal right here. Look at that red candle, real body below this candle, closed over 50% of the range. Got a pretty decent move up here, pulled back, and then it launched to the upside right here. So we got kind of a Harami day today. Let's see if it these levels are obviously going to be key for it to close above to retest those highs. Good, great stuff. Manu, what's going on? Hey, did ES on hourly get rejected at the upper trend line on the hourly? Let's take a look. So ES is now down 24 points, guys, but I mean, who knows? It could be up 50 later. So all over the place. But let's take a look. So yeah, let's go to the hourly chart here. Yeah, so here's what we got. Let's kind of zoom out here and just see what we got. So we got this going on. Right, so we got really, really close to tagging that. Right, you can kind of go here, and you can see that trend line right there. If you go here, yeah, so nice tag and down there. Again, tag and down here, right? Also off the cloud too. Look at that, 3 upper shadows too right here. So pretty wild stuff. Good, great catch on that one, Manu. Michael, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. So, Manu, please explain how Tweezer tops and bottoms work. So, you see SPY Daily, Tweezer bottom failed to reverse 2 days ago. Let me know if that's the right way to use Tweezer bottom. So, if you go SPY Daily, now keep in mind, generally, they say it's a 50% probability pattern, right? On the daily, I don't use it so much, right? I like to use it on the intraday time frames. But yeah, you have typically what you look at, this is not really a tweezer. The tweezer, you want to see 2 lower shadows at the same level, right? So this one here is like a kind of a southern doji right here. We got just a small lower shadow right there. You kind of want to see like we saw like kind of here, like upper shadow, and then it works its way down, so it kind of comes out like that. Some big upper shadows. You see this more like we like to see this on the intraday time frames. Sort of like kind of like this. I mean, these are not right next to each other, but you see how you have those upper shadows right there. If they're both kind of at the same level, it's a great reversal candle on the intraday. You can see these guys right here. That's like more a little bit closer to a tweezer bottom, right? Because you have those big shadows right there, right? That kind of concept. We see them a lot here on the intraday, right? So you kind of have these guys up here. Again, those are kind of spiky, but we do see them a lot on the when they do set up. We see them on intraday time frames on different ones, not necessarily on the SPY intraday. But we do see it. I'm trying to see, here's like here's pretty close to like a tweezers here. Here, this is good right here. This is a nice one right here. See that upper shadow? That's like a tweezer top right there. That's how I would look at it. You get nice long wicks, right? And it's starting to, kind of show some reversal. You don't have to necessarily trade right off of it, right? But if you had a tight trend line, in fact, the trend line would have been here, right there. So that's your blow. That's your confirmation there. Increased volume, and that gave you a nice move to the downside on the intraday time frame. So that's kind of what we look for, and you can kind of see those sometimes on the daily, but I enjoy it for day trading. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Alex, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Chart request. Let's take a look at IMV. IMV. Let's take a look here. Wow. Interesting, kind of a little bit of a penny name right here, but look at that upper shadow here at the 50 moving average. It did push flush below, basically came all the way back down to the 80 MA on this one. Huge move today, big gap up today with some big volume, right? 3 million shares for it is pretty decent on a cheap name. So very, very interesting stuff. Let's see, did it get any news? It launches plans to advance clinical development vaccine of COVID-19. So yeah, so possible corona play on this one. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. It's starting to get some interest, and thanks for bringing that one to our attention. Really appreciate that one. Anil, what's going on now? Let's take a look. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, so ServiceNow. So it's pretty cool stuff right here. We got an old pitchfork line that we drew from way back yonder. At the time, these were recent highs, but it's pretty interesting how it's been kind of holding, testing these this pitchfork median line. We did bounce off of this one again, so let's see if that holds us some potential support for us right there. Good volume today, nice hammer. It is below its 200-day moving average, so you got that to deal with, and you also have some crazy shadows here. But I do like it. It looks generally pretty good. Just watch out for that 200-day. Good stuff, Tommy. Yeah. Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. Manu, what's going on? Curious question. So if the VIX drops, does the implied volatility theta on VIX puts drop too, and thereby neutralizing any gains on those put options? Well, yeah. So if VIX drops, right? So here's the best way to look at it. Let's take a look. Let's go here and let's pull up the implied volatility. Let's chart that for us. Let's get the invol on here. Okay, so yeah, so this is tough, right? So the IV of the VIX is really high up here as well, and that's one of the things we look for in our group, right? That shows us how high volatility is. We'd like this thing to be as below 90 if possible, right? I've already drawn it on here about 89. So we talked about that in our volatility discussion as well. So yeah, so the IV is cooked into all the VIX options as well. So yeah, so if we drop down, right? Depends how much we drop down, right? It's not going to neutralize it, but that IV is still going to be in there as well. So, so it will reduce the value, but possibly not as exponentially as the price, right? Because you still have delta in there, and if we drop down 50 points, right? Just the volatility will drop down too. But like you said, it will affect the value. It wouldn't be as much as you would think, right? Now, normally, it's kind of funny how that works, right? So the volatility of the VIX goes up as the VIX gets a little bit counterintuitive, but yeah, it is still priced into those. So it doesn't neutralize it, but it definitely affects it. So it's got to move. We need this thing to get down fast to 20, right? To make a nice move. Rakesh, what's going on? Trump will save BE. Will save BA. Yeah, probably. This is what it is. Not much we can do about it. But, wow, look at its implied volatility. Wow. I tell you, that implied volatility is crazy. I can't even look at it. But it is an important tool to look at right there. So very, very high right now. Sumit, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look. So Kroger. So nice grocery store play right here. So it's been pretty wild, but it's had a lot of nice moves to the upside. Again, upper shadows right here. It's a tough one to swing, but still been pretty strong. Of course, people are buying them all out of their bread and milk and all that stuff, right? So we're seeing a lot of that going on right now. Harami right here. Pepsi, big doji day. Nice candle from yesterday. It kind of stinks with a big candle like this, right? To see it just kind of go flat and then kind of close this way right here. But we are still below the trend lines, right? So it's, again, crazy volatility type stuff. Guild, of course, we looked at a little bit earlier. Big mover. I like how it closed above these levels right here, and I like how it's up after hours as well. So that's good. Let's see if that holds into tomorrow. Piton can't go to the gyms anymore, so you may as well work out from home. So order a Piton, right? So that's definitely got some hype on that concept right there. Now this is kind of looking like Manu. This is kind of looking like a tweezer top-ish type pattern right here. Now, again, the ideal tweezer pattern is going to be where they are identical, like the highs are identical. You can kind of see how those upper shadows right there are giving it that tweezer look to it, right? You can think, kind of tweezers, right? So two little tweezers kind of connecting, right? So, so keep an eye on that right there. We did close below what was prior support. So let's see if that, that might be a resistance right here off of those off of those tweezers. So again, yeah, it's great that Piton is, it's kind of thinking that people are going to buy it instead of going to the gym, but I think people are more concerned about making sure they have food and staying safe and all that stuff. But you never know. So we might get some more sales off of that. So Bagish, yeah, my pleasure. Sumit, yeah, SFM. Wow, yeah, Sprouts Farmers Market again. Very, very similar company to APRN, right? So we're seeing, wow, crazy trend line right there. Inside day to day, so look for some moves through there. It finished actually down a little bit, and kind of see if it holds. We've got the cloud right here, so see if that kind of holds a little bit there. And then PFE, also been in the works with Guild and some other companies on the vaccine, but this thing is just not getting any love. I think they've come out previously and said hey, we're affected by this whole thing, et cetera, et cetera. But I do like how it's got through this little trend line right here. I don't like that it didn't close above this guy yet, but we didn't have increased volume either. But if we can get above that, we may be able to get to the next trend line up. Jay, yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Manu, yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, good stuff. And let's take a look at Apple. So Apple, pretty interesting right here. So we've drawn this, not too long ago, we drew this this macro trend line here, right? Or macro pitchfork, right? From this pivot to this pivot. It's just amazing to see that it got all the way up this high, right? And then it kind of rejected the cloud and kind of came back down as we broke down through the trend lines right here. But we're right at the median line. And right at the 200-day moving average. So kind of really, really key stuff right here. If we break down, we have a macro trend line here at about 225. If we break down from there, we get the next pitchfork level down here at like 190. So let's see if it can hold right here. Maybe it can get constructive, and maybe things will get bullish again one of these days. So we'll have to keep an eye. Look for those reversal patterns. Look for confirmation. Look for that VIX to get down, and look for Corona to go away so things can go back to normal again. Wow, S&P futures back down. They were up 40, and now we're down 40. That's a 80-point swing so far. Just incredible stuff, guys. Incredible market. So anyway, good stuff, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Again, Morningstar Reversal is one of my favorite ones. I like the evening stars too. One of my favorite reversal patterns. So keep an eye out for those. We saw it gave the big reversal back in 2018. We're at those 2018 levels. So let's see if that ends up showing its way up again too. And other than that, really appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're new here, definitely please click subscribe on YouTube. Also, anybody, always appreciate when you hit the like button on it too. It just it's good stuff for us. And also feel free to check out the links in the description too. So everybody, I hope everybody has a wonderful night tonight. Thank you again for tuning in and for your support. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow and finishing up our series on bullish reversal patterns. And I hope everybody stays healthy and remember to stay safe. Remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and thank you again, and we'll talk to you guys soon.